We've won, over the years, 12 games against the Power 5, 6, whatever they call them. And this was the type of game that you win. We did everything we had to do in the first half. I've got a player that is 6'8", that can really rebound, that couldn't play in this game. And we missed him because at halftime they had 10 offensive rebounds, and that was why the game was close. You know, we should have been up 8 or 10 at halftime. We go into the second half, and we did a much better job of keeping them off the glass. We only had 3 in the second half, but it's like I just told my team. You have to be perfect down the stretch. We turned it over, a couple bad turnovers, and we missed some free throws. But I think it's really important that we look at what they did. We got up 6. We had the guy in a double team. I think he took 9 steps, but he kicked it out of the double team. Your kid shot faked. You're a good player. Shot faked, side dribbled, and buried a 3. And that kind of changed the complex of the game, because we get to stop there and go down and hit another 3, the whole thing could have changed, and it could have been really bad for them. And so I have to give, from a coaching standpoint, as I told Chris after the game, that kid, you got to give him a lot of credit, because they could have wilted. I've seen it happen. We've won a lot of those games, and I've seen it happen many times. You want to put pressure on them. Our zone did a hell of a job and made them make tough shots. And once they got in a winning position, they made them. And I think he's got to feel good about his team. I feel good about mine. It's early in the year, and usually, I thought it was pretty high quality basketball. And usually early games aren't that high quality, so I feel pretty good.
You mentioned your defense and forcing them to take some difficult shots. Just in general, preparing for this Ohio State team, what concerned you, and what were you primarily trying to take away?
We wanted to run number 2.
Thorton?
Yeah, the good. Yeah. We wanted to run him off the 3-point line, and then the transfer from Minnesota, we wanted to make him dribble the basketball. I was not worried about their inside post games. I thought for them to beat us, they were going to have to make some threes. They got a couple lobs against our zone. Again, we had a 6'11" guy play 3 minutes and 58 seconds. I think he might have set the all-time record for fouling out in 3 minutes and 58 seconds, right? And our other big kid, we got in foul trouble. So what are we going to do? We're a little bit undersized. We knew they were going to get some lobs. We made some adjustments to take the lob away, and I think it worked in the second half. But what we wanted to do was make them score from the post and take the 3 ball away. And they were, in the first half, they were 3 for whatever, and then they shot 28% from the 3. So the game plan, we got everything we wanted to do. We didn't get the win.
Can you survive on that that kind of three-point shooting?
Do you know much about Oakland and our history? No.
But you know what?
We've won a lot of games with that style of play. We had a kid named Travis Bader that graduated as the all-time leader in the history of college basketball in three-point shooting. That's how we play, and we've won a lot of games. You know what? You get a lot of rebounds off that, and Trey Townsend can play anywhere in the country, and he scores in the post a lot. So we got a guy that can score in there. So yes, the answer is yes. I know my father, who's not alive anymore, early in my coaching career, I went home to Defiance, Ohio, and I walked into my house, and there was a sign in where I used to sleep in my bedroom that said, "You live by the 3, you die by the 3." Never said anything to me about it, but so I understand. But this is the year 2023, and that's how you play the game, and that's how we have always played it, and I think we've had a lot of success.
You talked about their number 2, Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like preparing for him, and how did you see him make some of those plays like you mentioned down the stretch?
Well, I think one of their frustrations was we knew everything they were going to do. Oh, I could make a comment right now. I'm from Michigan, but I don't think I will. We had my staff did a hell of a job scouting them. We've had every play they ran against zone for the last since Coach has been here. We felt we knew exactly what they were going to do. Iowa zones you a lot. There are some teams in the Big Ten, some non-conference. So we had every set, and we had all. We had a month to prepare for them. It's not like we only had one day to prepare. So I felt we were really prepared and knew what they were going to do. We threw a couple possessions of man-to-man just when we felt they got a little comfortable. Then we went back to the zone. And if we had played them man-to-man, he would have physically abused us. Throughout the game, everybody would have fouled out. So we had to play zone.
You mentioned how Ohio State didn't go away. You guys also didn't go away after that run in the second half. What do you see from your guys, kind of the resolve there at the end?
Oh, I like the way, Goki can really shoot it and Lampman can really shoot it. And when you have only one of them, you're probably right. But when you have three, DQ Cole can really, when you have three guys like that, most likely somebody's going to have a night. And plus, when you let them go, when they don't shoot, I yell at them to shoot. When they have that type of confidence, eventually I know they're going in. Now, did we take some bad ones? Yes, but it's the first game of the year. And they'll see film and I'll ask them, did we really need that one? You're going to shoot 253s this year. Did you really need that one? And they'll learn from it. And that's part of the season and growing. Like everybody, we got 8 new players, right? In this transfer portal era, every year you're going to be redoing things. And that's why you can be so bad in an exhibition game and then come out and, you're going to grow with every game and they're going to learn from me every game what I want. Not that I'm smart or any good or anything, but at least they'll know what I want.
The Longest Yard is a movie that says you typically schedule a tune-up game at the first game of the season to get a win, get some confidence under your belt. When you come in and you play Ohio State as your first game of the season, how big of a measuring stick is that for you guys to determine where you are at the start of the season and what the rest of the year can look like for you?
Well, when you have a team that you think's really good, you play these games. We play one of the hardest schedules every year. I always have. I look back at it and think, we've got a lot of wins, but we got a lot of losses too. Maybe my record might be a little better if we didn't play all these games. But what I told them after the game is 2 years ago we went to West Virginia. This game was the exact same game. We led at halftime, I think, or maybe down 1 at halftime. And we're going. And if you can believe a Bob Huggins team did not commit a foul for the last 12 minutes and 30 seconds of that game, that's how it was called. And we ended up losing 60-54, 60-55. And I had kind of the same conversation with them after that game. And then 3 nights later, we went to Oklahoma State and we beat them. And the game was just like the first one. And the free throws that we missed tonight, we did there. We made them that night. And we have Jalen Moore, a great point guard, make a big shot at the end. And we made the big shot. And we won that game. So we go to Illinois Friday night. And, I'm trying to get them to understand it could be the same thing. It might be 80-0 Illinois. I don't know, but you take from what you can from games, and then you teach from that. And like I told if we win this game, the only thing it does for us, is when they're 35, they'll be watching the game on TV with their kid and say, "I wanted the shot," It doesn't really do anything for us unless we make the NCAA tournament, and then instead of a 15 seed, we're a 14 seed. That's all the game would have done for us. And then we could have, I'm from Ohio, so I could have called all my friends and, hey, we beat the Buckeyes, That's all it is.
You mentioned you weren't overly concerned about Ohio State in the post. Could you elaborate on what you saw that didn't concern you about them?
We're not over concerned about anybody unless it was Koki Colburn or somebody like that. Somebody's going to get a 20 and 10, then we would double that on every catch. We wanted to make them score from there because we believe that if we can shoot 40% from the 3, that's 60% from the 2. And they're not going to shoot 60% from the 2 if we can take the 3 away and make them shoot tough 2s. And he made some in there, didn't he? But he also missed some jabs. They missed some jabs. Got to get those rebounds. Second half we did, first half we didn't. So that's what I mean. It had nothing to do with their personnel. But I would tell you right now, in our conference, there's 1 guy, maybe 2 I'm worried about that could hurt us in the post. And nationally, if we played everybody, there aren't 10 guys. The game's not played that way anymore. You just don't see guys like that. There's no Jabars in there anymore.
You mentioned Ohio State's number 2, it's Bruce Thornton, a few times. I guess you called him their best player. What about him specifically stood out to you on film?
He's a man, he's confident, and he makes big shots. And I love guys that make big shots. And the way he played he was a freshman last year, right? The way he played in that Big Ten tournament last year, when you're there first game of the year, you get to watch way too much film. And I haven't watched anything of Illinois, and I won't go to bed tonight because that's all I'll do is watch Illinois. But I watched months of them, and he kept me up. I just think he's a very, very good player. He's an all Big Ten level player, and if you guys are going to have a great year and win games, he's going to be the guy. Now, you got to have pieces around that, obviously. We all know that. I mean, Trey Townsend's our guy, and we got to make threes around him. So if we can make those threes and we'll shoot them, they can't double him. You know, it's all a cat and mouse game. You just try and figure it out. And half the time I'm wrong anyway, so. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you about, sorry, Golke with all the threes. Did you coach him to shoot off balance every shot, or did he come in from Hillsdale like that and you
He
just
came
decided to
in-
live with it?
Yeah, we knew that coming in from Hillsdale, and that's why I wanted him. I've had a lot of guys like him. If you really knew our program and that, I could name 8 guys that were just like him. We've always, all my really good teams have had a guy like him and then a second guy. When I had the guy I was telling you about, he made 133s one year. I had another guy on the team made 110. That's just how we play. I had a guy named Max Hooper that shot 246 threes in one season and shot 0 2s. He's the only player in the history to not shoot a 2. And they shoot a lot off balance because you're running at them. We didn't get to call the night. At our level, in our league, he would have shot 8 or 9 free throws. But we didn't get that call tonight. And I'm not saying we should have got it. Please don't take it that way. It's just the way the game was called. You know, it was a physical contact game. And higher level of basketball, they have more physicality. The guys are bigger and stronger, you know.
And he took I think he took 18 of them. Did you just give him kind of the freedom to say, hey, if you get it, go for it, or were you drawing a lot of those up?
Well, there were a lot of set plays. You know, he took probably 3 or 4 late that we wouldn't have taken if we were winning or things like that. But when I recruited him, I said, you're coming here and you're going to shoot 15 threes a game, and I need you to make 6. You go 6 for 15 every game, shoot 40%, that's 60%. We'll win a lot of games if you do that. And in our exhibition games, he took 12, 15, and now 18 in this game, and he made 5, 6, and 6. So, is that what he made tonight, 6?
6 of 18.
Yeah. So we had an inter-squad scrimmage, he went 11 of 15. I can't wait for that game. I hope it's against Detroit. That's our arch rival. So, is that good? All right, thank you.